This is the woman I never told anyone about. When I was 17, I lost my virginity to a female extraterrestrial. That's all I can say about it.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Brew Review. Today we're going to be talking about a documentary called Love and Saucers. This is a happy belated Valentine's gifts to you guys. This documentary is about a man named David Huggins who had an experience since he was a young kid with aliens. And some of these...
Starting in the 50s, right?
Starting in the 50s, and some of these experiences are very sexual in nature. In fact, a lot of these experiences are sexual in nature. But we just watched a documentary. It was directed by a guy named Brad Abrahams. Mm-hmm. We just got finished watching it. Tell me what you think.
First, in case you want to see this documentary after hearing our little review here, there'll be links to it down in the description below. And just full disclosure, we did receive a free screener because we have to tell you guys that. So, just so you know. But I think this documentary was super interesting.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Like, I don't even know.
Yeah.
I don't even know, bro.
That's it. That's the review. We don't even know. It's over. We don't even know. It's over.
Sorry, we're keeping the levels down. It's a little bit late at night before we can get together to record this. But it's... Man, I just like this guy.
Yeah. Okay, so the first thing I just want to say about it, the positives about this documentary is David himself. He's lovable. He's just very, very lovable. He says everything. He is very matter of fact about everything. He says everything as if he believes it. I don't believe that he believes he's lying about anything. I don't think that he thinks that anything's going on with these experiences. And if you watch the trailer, I thought that I was kind of scared that everything was already in the trailer. Like everything we needed to see was already in there. But there's actually a lot more to David's story.
Oh my gosh,
there's a whole lifetime of events that happen to him in the story that make it worth checking out.
Climax, if you will, is the sexual encounter and the losing the virginity to Crescent.
Crescent,
find out her name is. So that is probably the high point, but there's so much that leads up to it.
So many different things. I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah, we don't want to spoil the documentary.
There's so many different things that happens with him. With Crescent, his life that he has with Crescent, the things he does.
There's little
crazy.
furry guys.
The things he gets to
there's
see.
A mantis.
There's mantises.
There's little grays.
We just spoiled it. That's it. there's a lot to it. I do have a theory as to what I think is going on with David, that he probably doesn't agree with, is that this sounds a little bit like sleep paralysis episodes. It sounds like that to me, based on things that we've heard before. Very, very similar to things like that. And
there are a lot of similar elements.
And there is a point that he even talks about him floating off the bed at one point, which is something people who have had sleep paralysis experiences have said they have experienced. But it's very real to David. And
just like sleep paralysis experiences are very real to the people experiencing.
Right, exactly. And who knows? Maybe there is something to it. We don't know. Maybe.
We have a whole episode featuring Dr. Jeff.
I'm going to say this real quick. I might cut it out. But I was talking to my uncle about it. He says he experienced things like this before. And we were talking about it and said maybe, because I was like, well, maybe it's just something in the brain. Maybe it's sleep paralysis. He's like, maybe it's just us tapping into something that's actually already there. And I was like, you got a good point. People who have sleep paralysis might just be tapping into something that's already there, and most of us just can't see it. Another thing I want to point out is that these events happened to him since he was a kid, but he kind of over time forgot them. Every time they would happen, you forget them, which is kind of like a dream. That happens with dreams too. You forget them.
Yeah. That is a key point. Is a lot of this all of this happens throughout his life, but it doesn't really come back to him in like a solid form that he can truly remember
until he reads
much later in life.
Until like 1987, the year I was born, whenever he reads a book by Bud Hopkins. And this book details some certain things that he felt like happened to him. Oh, another point of interest is that he has a giant VHS collection of like science fiction and like horror and stuff, which is very impressive. I would love to hang out with him and talk about that. But that collection, like when you first see it, you think, oh, well, he's a kid, he's easily influenced, or maybe he's just lonely and he's coming up with this stuff to make up for being lonely.
But
his home life wasn't
first, the chicken or the egg?
The chicken or the egg,
chicken or the egg?
It's a chicken egg situation.
What do you mean? What's he mean, chicken?
Well, you know, what came first, the chicken or the egg?
Oh, it's irrelevant, isn't it?
Causality.
Stupid.
And there's even a professor there who talks during the documentary. Talks about he personally believes that for these experiences and for any science fiction to happen, that some of these has to be based on real experiences. That's his theory, anyway.
Real paranormal experiences that influence the sci-fi and supernatural, and then that influences other people's paranormal experiences. There's like a whole wheel. That's why it's the chicken and the egg.
Since
The chicken, obviously.
Oh, well, where did the chicken come from?
Well, it came from the...
You see, the egg.
You're the egg. You're a bad egg, all right? You derailed this meeting with another obscure comment.
Since he is a religious historian, he also believes that's the case for religion as well, that they had to experience something religious or like a religious experience in order to come up with that.
I like the way he spoke on religion, and that was interesting. But they have several people that they talk to, and they mentioned that across all over the world, different times, people have had similar enough experiences that lends possibly some credibility to David's experience, but across the world, people have had sleep paralysis and other issues of like psychosis manifesting in strange ways. So it's, you can't just latch onto that one thing. There's other potential explanations. I don't have one. Nobody does, clearly. And there's this one guy that they talked to who completely lost all his credibility.
I forgot his name, but yeah, he is some paranormal UFO experiencer who basically gathered everybody together so they could talk about their experiences and paint their experiences together.
But he tries to build his credibility with all these people he's interviewed and talked to over time, and then he's like, right here's a picture of my blow-up alien doll, and I'll blow him up right here, and I give him his favorite book. Look, it's a magazine, UFO Roswell. I wonder what he thinks about it. And I was like, credibility lost.
The people in his life seem to just accept David and the things that he believes in, accept it themselves. There's no questioning. It's just what happened to him. And so there's not a lot of skepticism around David, which it's probably a good thing overall.
And in the documentary, they also interview his son. David has a son, a full human son, not the hybrid children you may have heard of. But,
I don't want to spoil it too much, but there's hybrid children involved.
They speak of that in the interview. He was in an interview with This Morning, so I don't count that too much as a spoiler towards the documentary because it was mentioned there. But they interview his son, so they have character witnesses, I guess you could call them, that they speak to, and then people that are experts in the field, and then professors. So there's a swath of people that they talk to.
One of his friends.
Bravo.
Yeah, one of his friends who also experienced UFO, his name was Doug, says that he made a good point of he's saying that David has no motive. He's not making millions of dollars off of it, though he does have a gallery exhibition at one point in the documentary, and the hipsters that come in and looked at it were all actually very pleasant. Like, I was surprised that we didn't see them like snickering under their breath and just being douchewads or whatever. Douchewad? Who says that? I just did. But anyway, like early 90s cartoons. Early 90s cartoons may have said douchewad. I don't think you say douche on cartoons, but like they seemed like they were really into it. They really liked the art. They seemed to actually really appreciate it. I was surprised at their sincerity. But I do want to point out one of my favorite things is there was a painting that AJ laughed at that I guess we can show up. It's going to be blurred out. And then as we were watching it, we saw David look at the same picture and laugh at it too. We thought that was really funny. They had that sense of self-awareness to laugh at how silly that painting was.
You've got like over 100 paintings. They showed tons of them in there. So if you feel like we spoiled a lot, really we did not, because there's a lot of information in there.
There's a lot
about his experiences. There's so many encounters, and they talk about them. Not all of them, but they talk about a large portion of them, and they show off a ton of the paintings. It's
there's also something he does with the inject.
Iching.
Okay, I don't know what that is, but I have a feeling, David, if you're watching this, that even if your experiences are real, I don't know that this means anything. It looks just like a game.
It's based on the Book of Changes, an ancient Chinese divination text, and the oldest of the Chinese classics.
Oh, okay, cool.
He does seem like he's got kind of a he's a little partial to some of the,
I think he's very
Eastern practices.
Yeah, I think he's also very imaginative, and I think that this might be a combination of him really thinking he's experienced these things, sleep paralysis, and being a kid and having to, being kind of lonely and having to come up with these stuff in order to feel, just to have something interesting going on.
And speaking of him as a kid, they do spend some time talking about his time in Georgia as a youth and his family, the whole situation there. If you're wondering if there's some influence that could be there, well, you have to make that decision yourself.
Yeah, you have to watch it. Yeah,
SOB.
So David's story, as far as we could tell when we were watching, never becomes inconsistent. That's why he has a lot of stories. There's a lot of different things that happen during this whole life that has happened.
There's an internal consistency.
There seems to be an internal consistency to it, as far as we can tell. Unless he's just, if he can keep up with it, that's a lot to keep up with. In terms of
the
all
people on this morning, they had a good point. They were like, why don't you just take a picture of him?
Right, yeah.
And he seemed kind of like,
do you ever think about taking a photo of her instead of drawing her? Because you paint lots of pictures of them. Why not take a photo and then it's proof?
I don't know. I just never have.
Would you do that for us next time you see one?
If I can, yes. If I have a camera and if they tell me about it beforehand, yeah, I would do it.
Yeah, he seemed to be taken aback by it. He's like, what? I could have done this whole time. And he seemed like, also, he seemed to be a little defensive. It seemed like he got a little defensive.
About the taking the picture.
Yeah, because it seemed like he was just like, well, if I had a camera, or,
if I know when they're coming and I've got a camera.
That was the first.
I'll take a picture, you stupid
son of a bitch. Yeah. That was the first time where I kind of questioned him just a little bit.
Yeah.
In that moment. Okay, I only have one criticism of this thing, and that is that the tone of it, and it's not really, it's I actually like the tone of the of the show, and I like the cinematography and everything, but it kind of had like a dreary, like kind of sad, like creepy tone throughout the whole thing, which I guess is like befitting of these experiences. But when you hear David talk about this stuff, he's so positive about it. He's so happy about it. And it felt like the tone didn't really match with who David really was, if that makes any sense. It felt like it matched more with his experience.
I didn't really get much of a sad tone out of it, but I got the creepy tone just kind of going along with it all.
But yeah, it was one of the things where I just felt like it was kind of like a mismatch between his personality and the tone of it, as well, which has a kind of a gray palette to it or whatever. And it seems like his stories are a little bit more lively than that. Like I feel like this, if it had a little bit more color, then again, maybe then it would be creepy if you wouldn't be interested in it, or maybe. So I don't know.
I will say this, Brad. I went into this expecting just to have some fun with it, but you intrigued me.
Yeah, this is a very, very good thing. Oh, I do want to say there is one encounter here that is kind of emotional. It's kind of sad. It happens. Encounter 63. You remember this one? I don't want to spoil it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's something about that one that was really sad, but there was something about it also that reminded me a lot of Dream Logic too. So yeah. Anyway, so that's another thing why I think
63.
Yeah, so that's why I think that maybe this is a little bit of sleep paralysis mixed with him just going through life believing this is real. He said he was awake for a lot of this stuff. A lot of people who experience sleep paralysis, they go to sleep first, and then they feel like they're awake. But as far as he's concerned, he was awake.
He was outside and saw them outside in the woods.
Right.
He saw them chase him, and he looked under the house.
Yeah. So
how do you explain that?
I can't.
Checkmate atheist.
Checkmate atheist. So yeah. So this is an excellent documentary. I suggest you guys go check it out as soon as you can. It's very short. It's under 60 minutes.
It's right. It's like an hour and 4 minutes.
Oh, it's an hour and 4 minutes. It's very, very short. Very, very interesting. If you like UFOs and you like interesting people, this is something to watch. It's really, really good.
And it treats the subject matter with a lot of respect, which
there's
can be hard to do sometimes.
Yeah. It's a lot better than if it was us.
I do.
I'll be laughing, but yeah.
For all of the documentary's credit, I do wish we had the opinions of some people
who were skeptical.
That were more
skeptical,
critical.
Yeah. There's no skepticism in this at all. Like everything's just kind of like just belief. I guess it's assuming that the people who are watching it are already that way. So it's just kind of like it's just trying to treat the subject as respectfully as possible, which is probably the best way to go, to be honest. But yeah, loved it. Highly recommend. This video is probably gonna be edited too much because we got things to do elsewhere in life. But I hope you guys enjoyed it, and give a thumbs up.
Be sure to follow on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. I started up a new Twitch account, so you can follow me over there. The link's down in the description. It's twitch.tv/ Ooh, it hit the microphone. Hey, it's me, AJ. And I've only had a chance to do one live stream because as soon as I started it, work busy schedule exploded and it's been chaos. That's why we finally got together to do this, and it's later than usual, so we're keeping the levels down a little bit. But all the same, we hope you enjoyed it. We hope it intrigued you enough to look into David's story. You can find interviews with him online if you want to hear more from David himself and decide if you want to see the documentary.
Also, we do have some exciting new videos coming up soon. There is a ghost video that somebody sent us that I am I don't know, I'm like halfway convinced about it this time. It's very similar to the James video that we covered. It feels genuine to me so far. I like it. I want to get a little bit more information, I think, about it out. Like I'm gonna try to reach out to the person about it and try to get some more information, and hopefully you guys will do that soon. But we're also going to do our next monthly recap for February as well, very, very soon. So I hope you guys enjoyed that, and we'll see you guys on the next video.
Happy Valentine's Day. We love
Later,
y'all.
guys. Love you. I have to be so quiet.